Hello everyone, I am Christopher Zuniga, and for my Hormone Hearsay project, I investigated a claim that's become increasingly popular in the wellness industry, that melatonin can help you lose weight. You've probably seen melatonin advertised as a sleep aid, but what's less talked about is marketing as a weight loss supplement. Today, I'm going to walk you through what the scientific evidence actually says about this claim. Let me start by setting the stage. Over the past 10 to 15 years, melatonin has transitioned from primarily being known as a sleep supplement to appearing in multi ingredient weight loss formulations in wellness products. The claim is straightforward: melatonin can help you lose weight, usually by promoting better sleep and supporting metabolism. You'll see melatonin in supplements marketed as circadian rhythm regulation and metabolic support. The logic seems sound. Better sleep should lead to better weight management, right? The marketing angle, but the question we need to ask is, what does the actual science show? This is where it gets interesting. Before we jump into research, let's establish what melatonin actually is and what it does in our body. Melatonin is a hormone produced by the pineal gland, a small gland in the center of your brain. Its primary job is to regulate the sleep-wake cycle, also called as a circadian rhythm. Think of it as your body's internal clock manager. Melatonin is produced when it gets dark in the evening, which signals your body that it's time to prepare for sleep. Conversely, when light exposure happens from the sun or artificial light, melatonin production is suppressed, keeping you alert during the day. Now, melatonin isn't just a sleep hormone. It has additional roles in your body. It functions as a powerful antioxidant, protecting cells from damage, and it has anti-inflammatory properties. This is important because the oxidative stress and inflammation are both connected to obesity and metabolic dysfunction. So, biological possibility for melatonin affecting weight is there. But is it actually effective? That's where the research investigates. Let me walk you through the key findings from the studies I reviewed. First study. This was a mouse study investigating what happens when sleep is chronically disrupted. When mice were sleep deprived for 10 days, several things occurred. Their plasma melatonin levels dropped. They ate significantly more food and they gained weight compared to control mice. When the researchers gave the sleep deprived mice melatonin supplements, the melatonin appeared to protect against the weight gain by restoring normal metabolic processes and reducing fat accumulations. This suggests melatonin might help when sleep disruption is a primary problem. Second finding. This was a 30-day human study with 30 obese participants. 15 received 10 milligrams of melatonin daily and 15 received a placebo. Everybody was also on a calorie-restricted diet. The melatonin group showed reduced oxidative stress markers and improvements in adipokine levels, which are hormones produced by fat tissues that influence metabolism and inflammation. This is a mechanistic finding, showing that melatonin can affect these molecular markers. Third study. This one looks specifically at postmenopausal women. Those who received melatonin supplements showed both improved sleep quality and reduced BMI. This is interesting because both combine two outcomes, which are sleep and weight. The pattern emerging here: melatonin does seem to have metabolic benefits, particularly when combined with other interventions. But the story gets more complicated when we look at the next set of findings. Genetic variation matters. This study examined 80 obese participants with Mediterranean style calorie restricted diet. The crucial finding: people with different genetic variations in the melatonin receptor gene responded differently to the diet. With those with CC genotype had better improvements in BMI, fat mass, waist circumference, and importantly, insulin resistance compared to people carrying G alleles. This tells us that melatonin effectiveness isn't universal. Your genetics influence whether you'll respond well to it. Insulin sensitivity independent of weight loss. This rat study is particularly interesting. Obese rats were given melatonin for 8 to 12 weeks, showed improved insulin sensitivity and better glucose regulation without actually losing any weight. This suggests melatonin has metabolic benefits that go beyond just helping you drop pounds. You could have a better metabolic health without necessarily seeing the scale move. Limited evidence in specific populations. The most recent study I looked at involved female night shift nurses who were overweight and or obese. Despite melatonin being theoretically helpful for people who disrupted circadian rhythms, like shift workers, the results on eating habits were limited. This population often has significant challenges with meal timing and food choices, and melatonin alone doesn't solve those problems. So we're seeing context matters. Melatonin seems most helpful when sleep disruption is the primary issue. How might melatonin work? Let me synthesize the mechanisms that emerge from the research. Mechanism 1: circadian rhythm regulation. Melatonin regulates whenever you sleep and wake. If you have better sleep, your metabolism functions are more optimally. Sleep deprivation disrupts multiple metabolic hormones, including those with regulated hunger or fullness. So, restoring good sleep through melatonin could support weight management. Mechanism 2: oxidative stress and inflammation. Melatonin is a potent antioxidant. Several studies found that melatonin reduces oxidative stress markers and inflammatory signals. Chronic inflammation and oxidative stress are both implicated in obesity and metabolic dysfunction, so reducing these could theoretically support weight loss efforts. Mechanism 3: neuroendocrine system and adipose tissue function. Melatonin receptors are found throughout your body, including in tissue that regulate appetite, energy expenditure, and how fat tissue functions. The research suggests melatonin can influence these systems, though the specific mechanisms aren't fully characterized yet. Mechanisms 4: genetic variation. This is perhaps the most important finding. Your genetic makeup influences melatonin receptor function, which means some people are biologically set up to better respond to melatonin supplementation than others. There is no one size fits all answer. The takeaway: melatonin has multiple possible biological pathways that could affect weight and metabolism, but that doesn't automatically mean that those pathways are sufficient to produce meaningful weight loss in everyone. Limitations of current evidence. This is a critical part of my analysis. Understanding the limitations is essential to interpreting what research actually tells us. Limitation 1: too many animal studies. A significant portion of the evidence comes from animal research, mice, rats, etc. While animal studies are useful for understanding mechanisms, they don't always translate to humans. Animal metabolism works differently. They don't have the same behavioral and environmental factors humans do. And we can't ask a mouse about its eating habits or motivation. Limitation 2: small human sample sizes. The human studies I've reviewed typically involve 15 to 80 participants. For context, well-powered clinical trials often involve hundreds or even thousands of participants. Small sample size increase risk of chance of findings and reduce how confident we can be that results would replicate in larger, more diverse populations. Limitation 3: co-founding with calorie restriction. In multiple studies, melatonin was given alongside calorie restriction. When you're actively restricting calories, it is hard to isolate melatonin-specific contributions to weight loss. Is the weight loss from eating fewer calories or from melatonin? That's the question. The studies we don't cleanly separate these effects. Limitation 4: difficulty isolating melatonin's effects. Even when melatonin is the intervention, participants' sleep improves, which then affects metabolism, which affects weight. At what point is melatonin directly causing weight loss versus indirectly helping to improve sleep? This causal chain is difficult to disentangle. These limitations don't invalidate the research. They just mean that we should be more cautious about overstating what we can conclude from it. The verdict: promising but not proven. Here's where I land based on my review of evidence. What the evidence supports: the research clearly shows that melatonin can improve sleep quality. That's well established. Additionally, there's metabolic benefits. Melatonin reduces oxidative stress, improves inflammatory markers, and can enhance insulin sensitivity independent of weight loss. So if you're someone with poor sleep, melatonin supplementation can help you sleep better, and better sleep might support your overall metabolic health. What remains unclear: the direct causal relationship between melatonin supplementation and weight loss. The evidence is correlation and mixed. Some people lost weight in the studies and others didn't. When weight loss did occur, it was often alongside significant lifestyle interventions like calorie restriction or exercise. What is likely? Like any weight loss benefits from melatonin probably work best as part of a comprehensive approach, meaning melatonin plus a healthy diet, regular exercise, and good sleeping habits. Melatonin isn't just like a standalone weight loss supplement. It's potentially a supporting player in a larger strategy. When it comes to like moving forward, we need more of a rigorous human studies with larger sample size, longer follow-up periods, and better controls and confounding variables. We also need studies that look at different populations, not just obese individuals, but different ages, genders, and activity levels, which it would be something pretty cool to do. And then to like conclude everything, the claim that melatonin aids with weight loss is overstated based on my current evidence. What can we say? Melatonin may support metabolic health and could be helpful for weight management, and when combined with lifestyle changes, especially in people with sleep problems. And we made it. I want to thank you for listening. I know we covered a lot of mechanisms and osmosis, so I'm happy to clarify anything.